Thank you very much, Alice. Well done, and good evening, folks. Saturday night, bring it on. Good to be here, Glenn Wheeler, and I'm tipping that many of you are probably on your way home from a great day at the beach today. What a cracking Sydney summer's day. That was just outstanding, wasn't it? That was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Stacks of good stuff to work our way through tonight too between now and midnight. We'll open the Clubhouse shortly with thanks to 50 Up Club. And I'm going to need your input on something to do with old theatres and entertainment venues around Sydney. I'll tell you exactly what I'm after in just a tick. After 7 o'clock tonight, it is time for My Kitchen. No rules, of course. And Janelle Bloom can't be with us tonight, unfortunately. No, Bloomy's not here. But we will battle on. But in fact, we're going to do better than just battling on. We're going to be joined by some very interesting guests who are going to shed some light on three incredibly important areas of health for many Australians these days. We've got three experts to discuss cooking for vegetarians, celiacs and diabetics. And they'll take calls too if you've got questions, so you can either call in on the open line 131873 or you can email any questions through, and you can do that now, of course. That's happening after 7 o'clock, and then from 8 o'clock we will drop the bar down as far as we possibly can on a Saturday night, as we usually do, and we'll kick back with Wheeler until midnight. Always good fun. And on a very serious note and a very sad note, as Michael Smith mentioned earlier this afternoon, young Daniel Christie, the 18-year-old who was hit by a coward punch on New Year's Eve, lost his battle today when he passed away after 11 days in St Vincent's Hospital. Very sad news indeed. And his family have released an incredibly powerful and positive statement to the media, which Michael shared with listeners a little earlier on. I'll share it with you a bit later tonight. It really is an amazing statement by the family, but a very sad day for the Christie family and Daniel's circle of friends. Very sad indeed, and I'm sure we all feel the same way, and our thoughts are with them. Just in brief, the Christie family said in their statement, and I think it's so powerful and so incredible that a family at a time of grief would say this: go home and hug your children. Tell them you love them. Call someone you don't call often enough. Cherish your family and the important relationships in your life, because you never know when a loved one could be gone. So true. Righto, 7 minutes after the hour of 6 o'clock here on 2GB 873.
Welcome to the Clubhouse on a Saturday night, thanks to 50upclub.com. And now, here's your host with the most, Glenn Wheeler.
Thank you, Lofty. Yes, with thanks to 50 Up Club, and if you haven't already joined 50 Up Club, then what are you waiting for? Don't wait any longer. As we keep telling you, there's been some great deals on car insurance and, of course, electricity. And for many people, electricity bills have doubled over the past 7 years, and summer months are often the worst. I know in our house this afternoon, I flicked on the aircon. Aircon chews up the electricity. And that's why you should be really thinking about the 50 Up Club electricity offer. There's 17% off your entire bill for 2 years if you pay by direct debit, or 15% off if you pay on time by phone or internet. No exit fees or lock-in period, and all from one of Australia's fastest-growing electricity retailers, Click Energy. A typical four-person household on the regulated tariff could save $490 this year by taking up the offer. Now, we've told you about it for the last few weeks. There will be a cut-off on this shortly, I'm sure. So if you're not a member yet, join now and see the offer at 50upclub.com. And for more details, just log on at 50upclub.com. And that's where you can join. That's where you can join up and become a part of the 50 Up Club movement. More deals are going to be coming our way. And the whole notion of 50 Up Club is that there are so many of us now in this country, and we're going to be more. We're going to be just like, we're already a powerful force. And from a business perspective, from a commercial aspect, it makes sense that if there's so many people that are 50 up, then we should be able to do better deals on things like car insurance and electricity and travel and maybe fuel, maybe car registration and things like that. I even suggested to the 50 Up Club guys recently, what about road tolls? Road tolls are hideously expensive. What about public transport? There's a myriad of things. What about the telcos? Being able to get some sort of a better deal on mobile phone contracts and all that sort of thing. Anyway, it's all to do with the 50 Up Club. Doesn't cost anything to join. Jump on the website and check it out, 50upclub.com. I do need a bit of expertise from, I'm guessing it's probably going to be our 50 up, 50 and over listeners right now, actually. In a conversation I had during the week with a a bunch of, shall we say, Gen Ys. They were considerably younger than I was saying how the theatre scene of years ago in Sydney was actually much better than it is today. And yet I was a kid when a lot of the theatres that I was thinking of were around. I'm talking classic old theatres, some of which doubled, to my mind, doubled as not movie houses only, but sometimes for live shows. And I'm sure that there was one, and it was the only one that I could remember by name, was the Lyceum Theatre, Lyceum, Lyceum Theatre. I have no idea where it was. I know I went there because I won tickets in a competition to go and see the movie What's Up Doc with Ryan O'Neill. That's a long time ago. And I'm pretty sure it was the Lyceum Theatre. Where was it? And was it the Lyceum? But there were a stack of others as well, weren't there? A stack of others. And I'm having this conversation with this young group who were saying, well, no, all the movie houses these days are, either Greater Union or Hoyts or whatever, and there's, 6 theatres in one building and all that. Guys, it wasn't like that. It was different. There were theatres everywhere. We had a stack of theatres in Sydney. And gradually, one by one, I guess they've all just been pulled down and converted into whatever, blocks of units or something. The only cabaret or live show venue that I could remember was the Trocadero. Because they were saying, well, where did people go for live shows? Well, there was always the Capitol Theatre, because the Capitol in the Haymarket has been there for a long time, but the Trocadero was the only other live venue that I could think of. But for the life of me, I actually have no idea where the Trocadero was, and I'm guessing that it was in Darlinghurst or King's Cross, somewhere in that vicinity. Anyway, I am hoping that our 50-up listeners, those over 50, those who can remember, might be able to throw some light on all of that for me. The number is 131873. As I say, I'm tipping that you've got to be a little bit older to be able to remember it, but some of those theatres, what were they called? Where were they? For not just movies, but for live shows as well. Can you help me out? 131873 is the number. Give us a call. Right, let's, a stack of you are going to give me a hand there with some of these theatres, which is just wonderful. I'll take your calls in just a tick. First of all, though, Sheila is on the line, I think, to talk about something different. Hello, Sheila.
Yeah, I was just wondering, I heard on the news about this young guy that died.
Daniel Christie. Yep.
Yeah, and it's one of the top guys that deals with criminals and the guy underneath. And this guy said to the top guy, it was on the news, to make sure that if he charges him with murder, it's appropriate. What's he on about? Appropriate.
Oh, look, I don't know. I didn't see the grab, Sheila, but you can bet your bottom dollar that all the correct procedures will be taking place, and we shan't be talking too much about it because obviously this throws a very different light now on the charges that 25-year-old Sean McNeil is already facing over the coward punch on Daniel Christie on New Year's Eve, now that Daniel Christie has passed away. So there is no question about the fact that the police, the prosecution, will be looking at every angle they possibly need to. But you know what? At the end of the day, the reality is that, unfortunately, it doesn't make life any better for Daniel Christie's family or for Daniel. Righto. Now, Ken, help me out here. The Lyceum Theatre, where was it?
Yeah, right. It was in Pitt Street, in the corner of Market and Pitts, or just along, where the City Tattlefish Club is now. That used to be the Lyceum.
Oh, okay.
Tie up between the Lyceum and the Methodist religious people. And the Trocadero, well, that's the Hoyt Centre, just down from Park Street there, where all the movie houses are.
No, I have no. We're in Park Street?
Yeah, in George Street.
Yeah.
In George Street, on the corner used to be a place called the Regent Theatre, and just down from there is the Trocadero. It takes up that Hoyt's centre for all the kids go to in George Street.
Oh, the Greater Union.
That's it. That's it.
Greater Union.
So that's where they are. They were great little places in the old days.
Okay, good on you, Ken. I'm sure there'll be. So, Lyceum was in Pitt Street. What was the other one he mentioned? Regent. The Regent Cinema. That rings a bell too. I wonder where that was. The Regent Cinema. Hello, Eileen. G'day.
Right about the Trocadero was just a block down from the town hall, and in the 50s...
Hang on, a block down from the... I'm just trying to think what's there now. A block down from the town hall.
Theatres, picture theatres.
So that's where he's talking about where the Trocadero was. So I'm totally wrong when I thought it was up in Darlinghurst or somewhere.
No.
Wasn't there a nightclub in up at the Cross or in Darlinghurst where they used to, when people like Sinatra and some of those performers back in the day used to come out here that they used to perform, was there?
Not up at the Cross.
Yeah.
And the Trocadero I'm talking about in the 50s, because we used to go there and dance, and the ones that wanted the jitterbug used to do it in the corner.
The jitterbug?
Yeah.
Did you do the jitterbug, Eileen?
Of course I did.
Yeah, I bet you were good at it too.
And they had two great big stairs that went up to the top, and then years later they turned it into a movie theatre.
Is that right?
Yeah, but there was a lot of places to dance those days.
Well, so we had the Regent Theatre. Where was that? Do you remember?
Trying to think where the Regent was. Oh.
And there must have been others. There must have been a stack of other movie houses around the place as well.
Oh, there were.
I know the Cremorne Orpheum. I think Mike Walsh still owns the Cremorne Orpheum over there at...
North Shore, yeah.
Over on the north side, yeah, which is obviously one of the great old classic movie houses, but maybe there's a few out in the suburbs as well. Eileen, thank you for that. We'll move on and see who else can help us with this. Hello, Lorraine.
Oh, hi.
G'day.
Yes, the Trocadero was there in George Street, where those cinemas are now.
Did you go there?
I went to Trocadero, yeah.
It seems like everybody of a certain age or over a certain age went to the Trocadero.
Well,
was that the place to go, was it?
They used to have balls there.
Yeah.
Really, like dress-up balls and stuff. And then when the war years were there, they used to go there jitterbugging and stuff. And then in the 60s, when I was there, they used to have the Coca-Cola dances.
Oh, what were
on a Saturday afternoon.
What were the Coca-Cola dances?
Well, it was sponsored by Coca-Cola.
Oh, okay, so the dance was sponsored by Coke.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And we had young people like Sandy Scott and people like that come there and perform.
How good's that? What about Cole Joy?
Yes. Well, I was part of Coldress Fan Club years ago.
Oh, fan club.
I even went out on a picnic with him.
Oh, Lorraine.
Yes.
Oh, Lorraine. Hello. You went on a picnic with with Cole Joy or Sandy Scott?
No, Cole Joy. And his brother, Kevin.
Oh, Kevin Jacobson.
Yes.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, it was good fun in those days.
Hey, the good old days.
There weren't any problems like there are now.
I was just going to say, I bet the difference then was that, nobody played up, nobody carried on.
Well, I remember one day when Keith Jacobson, the younger brother, came to pick me up, to take me out on his picnic, and he was borrowing an esky from our home. And my father said to him, "You get home here by 11 o'clock."
And I bet he did.
No, this was part of the Joy Boys.
Oh!
My dad didn't realise.
Oh, well, in that case, I mean, he was the exception to the rule. Bye, 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 baby, goodbye. Wasn't that one of his songs?
Yeah, but I was home by 10 o'clock. I was a good girl in those days.
Oh, good girl, good girl. The great Cole Joy. I can imagine now.
Bye, bye, bye,
oh, yeah.
bye, bye, baby, goodbye.
And there's Lorraine sitting in the passenger seat of Cole's car as he pulls up out the front at 10 o'clock to drop her home. I wonder if he sang that to her. Elaine, did Cole sing this to you? I bet he did. He wouldn't go anywhere without his little ukulele. Bye, 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 baby, goodbye. See, good days. They were good days. Hello, Betty. G'day, how are you, Betty?
Oh, not bad, not the same as the other ladies. But the only difference was she lived out. They always had a big band there, and they had all the Jitterbug championships there. From I come second and won the Jitterbug champions.
Well done. It sounds like it was a fabulous place to go. What time did the dances kick off?
Oh, God, in the night time.
Yeah, okay, so, 7:30, something like that.
Yes, and then that other one you're talking about was over in Pitt Street.
See, the Lyric, that's the Lyric Theatre, was that another one?
That's right, and that's where they used to have the pictures.
So there was the Lyceum.
That's right.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
The Regent.
Yep. And Don Osborne was the leader of the big band.
Oh, beautiful.
Right.
So there's a message in all of this, really, when you stop and wind the clock back. And in fact, I think it was last night, I heard Michael McLaren. He had a caller on his show who quoted something out of an old school textbook that he had about some of the curriculum that he was taught back in the 50s and the 60s. And it was stuff as basic as respect your parents, respect your friends, respect people in the street. It was part of the curriculum. It was what the teachers were told they had to teach the kids.
That's right.
And, of course, as we've moved on, we've thrown all that stuff out the window.
Yeah.
And now we've got the anarchy that we've got in some parts of not only here in Australia, but in parts of the world where, young people don't give a bugger about anybody.
Nope.
And when I have these conversations with people like you guys, over 50s, they're always over 50s, 50 up.
Yep. I'm 83.
Well, you're just over 50. They're always happy memories of a good time when people went out, at 7 o'clock at night, had a dance. They didn't get stone cold smashed. They didn't go and belt anybody over the head, and they got home by 11 o'clock or midnight.
Oh, no, a little bit after that.
Maybe 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you weren't out till 3 or 4 in the morning.
Oh, a couple of times I was.
Oh, were you?
Yep.
Oh, Betty.
I used to go around to all the different ones. There's one at Bondi.
Oh, Betty.
At 12 o'clock. What? What's the matter?
Yeah. You had a good time, didn't you?
My bloody oath.
Good on you, Betty. Well done. If I wasn't sitting here right now, here at 2GB, presenting this show on a Saturday night, you know what I'd be doing? On a night like tonight, as I look out over Blackwattle Bay behind me, it looks absolutely superb out there, I'd be sitting down and sipping on a nice Shardy, maybe a Windy Peak Chardonnay or a Windy Peak Sauv Blanc, or even a Rioret Pinot. And, of course, they'd be from my great mates at De Bortley because they make great wine. They've won lots of awards for making great wine, and they know what they're doing. So, look, take my advice. We talk about it every Saturday night. They are award-winning winemakers, and they're an Aussie family to boot. That makes it even more important. De Bortley, remember the name. Lovely to be with you on this Saturday night, and boy, do I look forward to Saturday nights at any time, but I certainly look forward to Saturday nights after doing the weeknight show because we get to have a bit of fun tonight. Hello, Roy. You there, Roy? Oh, hang on, I've got to do that. Hello, Roy.
How are you, mate?
Good.
Listen, you're talking about when the stars, your Sinatra and all that, up the cross. I think, I'm not 100% sure, Glenn, but I think it was called the Maple Room.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I think so, mate. I'm not...
Gee, it's a newie on me. I've never heard of that one.
Well, mate, I'm not 100% sure, Glenn, but I think that's what it might have been. See you, buddy.
Good on you, mate. The Maple Room. Well done, Roy. Thanks for that. Never heard of the Maple Room. Owen. Hello there, champ.
Yeah.
G'day.
Yeah, g'day, Glenn.
G'day.
You'd be about my vintage, wouldn't you?
53.
53. I'm going on 57. So we spent a lot of time in town, going to the theatres, and in the early days it was, with my mum, but later on we used to go as teenagers, and you'd probably remember all those theatres. The main ones were around the George Street area. The region, as those other people were saying, was just as you come out of Town Hall. Do you remember on the corner there, this beautiful old building had the big pillars and that?
I actually don't remember the theatre. I remember, like the name, the Regent Theatre is ringing true in my mind, but I just can't place where it was, and I'm sure I would have gone to it.
Yeah, well, it was labelled for demolition and sat around for 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 or 7 years before they actually knocked it down. They were trying to save it for many years. And it was one of the last ones to go, but where the Trocadero used to be, which is now the Event and Greater Union Theatres, they used to have the just down the road. They had the Rapallo and another theatre I just can't remember.
Oh, Rapallo, yeah, that name rings a bell too. Yeah, okay.
And across the road there was the Plaza and the Century.
Oh, okay, well, yeah, good.
Now the Plaza building's still there. It's been restored, and at some stage they had Planet Hollywood down in that building.
Ah, okay. I know exactly what you're talking about, opposite Greater Union in George Street.
That's right. And right next door was the Century Theatre, which I think they've still got the Century Tavern named after it upstairs. It's like a pub. And they sort of died out in I suppose about the 1980s. We used to go and see blockbusters there like Butch Cassidy and Tower Inferno and those sort of things. But they closed it down and all sorts of things happened there. They had Maxie's ice skating rink there for many years.
Yeah, gosh, you got a good memory.
Oh, well, I used to work in town.
Yeah.
But the other great theatres were the Mayfair. That was a bit further down.
Oh, yeah, Mayfair.
Street.
Yeah, I do remember Mayfair.
Yeah, and they were on the days when movie premieres were in town. They weren't in the suburbs, so you could only go into town. So
that's right.
I think, for instance, movies like The Sound of Music, that was there for a good 2 years or so.
Oh, really?
It was just so popular, yeah. So that was its home.
It's funny how the movie scene has changed so much now, and you no longer have the premiere just at one movie house, but when it's released, it goes everywhere all at one time. And of course, back then you also usually got two for the price of one, didn't you?
Oh, I don't remember that.
Yeah, I remember. Unless I'm kidding myself, but I seem to think that you used to. Well, maybe I'm confusing it with the fact that they used to run a. There was a trailer, not a trailer, but you had your feature film you were going to see, but there was always like the news.
There was always a featurette.
The newsreels and things like that.
Yeah, there was a little featurette. Sometimes they went for about 20, 30 minutes before the movie.
Do you remember when they played the national anthem and you had to stand up at the beginning, God Save the Queen?
No, I don't remember that. Maybe I didn't stand up.
Well, maybe you didn't. I definitely remember that, unless I'm having a bit of a brain attack here, but I'm sure that there was a time when they played God Save the Queen at the start of the movies and everyone had to stand up. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
The good old days, Owen, the good old days. Thanks for the call, mate.
All right, mate.
Appreciate it very much. Good on you. Thank you for that. Let's just take a couple more and then we're going to talk food, because I want to do a bit of... we're going to do a bit of cooking tonight. We're going to do some... in fact, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to talk about going to cooking classes, making your own beer, and also decorating cakes. Now, you might think that all sounds a bit bland and a bit boring, but trust me, we're going to have some fun with it. Nolene, hello there.
Glenn.
G'day.
The overseas artists, they used to go to the Silver Spade Room.
Ah, that's the one.
Chevron Hotel up at the Cross.
That's what I was thinking about, the Silver Spade Room.
Yes, yeah, that was the one. And did someone tell you where the Lyceum Theatre was?
Yes, that's down in George Street.
No, in Pitt Street.
Pitt Street, sorry. Yeah, Pitt Street, the Lyceum, yeah.
Yeah, between Park and Market.
That's it. So the Chevron, whereabouts was the Chevron exactly? Can you remember?
Walking down towards Woolloomooloo, it was on the left-hand side, probably about halfway down, right on the corner.
In Darlinghurst Road?
Yes.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Obviously a very popular spot, and that's where people like Sinatra and others went, was it?
Yes, they did, yeah. And has anyone mentioned the Tivoli?
No.
That used to be down somewhere near Central Railway, opposite there.
So the Trocadero got a run, but not the Tivoli. Gee, we had some theatres, didn't we?
And Her Majesty's Theatre. That was also down near Railway Square.
No.
Had a lot of good live
shows.
Okay,
that's another one. They sound like they were amazing buildings too.
They were. Yeah, they were beautiful.
Like the old Capitol. Every time I go to the Capitol Theatre there in Haymarket, I'm just blown away by the design and the architecture of the place. It's just beautiful.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, like the old State Theatre in Market Street. Beautiful.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, we want to make sure we never lose those, Nolan, because they are really lovely complexes. Thanks for the call. Got to move on, though, unfortunately, because lots of people want to say good day. Hello, Roma.
Oh, hi, Glenn.
Hi.
Yeah, the Silver Spade at the Chevron, that was pretty popular.
Mm-hmm.
And every time you went out, you sort of dressed up, and everybody was so respectful, and everybody had a great time. I don't recall any incidents that I can look back on where it was nasty.
See?
And the St. James Theatre, that was something else. And that was near David Jones. And they had the organ. When you went early, you had the organ.
Oh, they played that before the show started, did they?
Absolutely. Right. And you had the Latin Quarter and Checkers.
Wouldn't it be nice if you could just sort of turn back the clock?
Well, we're not just making it all up.
No.
We've never had these terrible incidents.
Yeah.
And I think it's a mixture of grog and drugs.
Oh, it is.
He mentions the drugs. All these, designer drugs.
Yeah, I know.
Absolute rot.
Roma, we've been mentioning all of that during the past week, and certainly drugs play a big part in all of this, unfortunately, and you would like to think that with all the talking that's been going on that this time, because it's been talked about for way too long, this time something will ultimately be done. Thanks for the call, Roma. Before we take a break and come back and take some more of your calls as well, 25 minutes to 7, just by the way, here on 2GB. I want to talk about learning to cook, because it's something that probably more of us should do. not just, because we're sort of focused these days on shows like MasterChef and My Kitchen Rules and all that sort of stuff, but it can be so much fun learning to cook. Go along with a bunch of friends or just go along by yourself to a class. Victor's Food do all of that. Victor's actually been in the cooking game for a long, long time. He's got quite a history. Victor Pasapia, and he joins me on the line. G'day, Victor.
Hello, Glenn. How are you?
I'm well. You've pretty much spent your whole life in a kitchen, haven't you?
Since I've been 24. I started my first restaurant at 24.
Yeah.
And I did 8 of them. And then, I'm still cooking. So it's, I've been there pretty much all my life.
What is it?
As a teacher, so that's...
What is it that gives you the most enjoyment as someone who teaches people to cook? What is it that makes you feel happiest when you've got a bunch of, novices in there, people like me that come in there to learn something?
I think the most exciting thing is when they just light up in front of you and they just go, oh, my God, I didn't realize it was so easy to chop something. Because they've been going in the wrong direction all the time. They've been pulling the knife back instead of pushing the knife forward.
Yeah.
And they've been doing the whole thing wrong all their lives. Because cooking is a skill, and cooking is something that should be taught when we're quite young, so that you have a life skill. And it's totally a life skill. So that's what we try to teach them, so that they can just eat properly, at the end of the day.
And we're so lucky these days that we've got the food shows on telly, which has obviously got many of us excited, but then we've got places like your joint, Victor's Foods, where we can go along, and I'm just looking at, for example, your list of upcoming classes and things. Mm-hmm. Cookery Basics, terrific. I mean, who doesn't need Cookery Basics? I could send my 3 kids along to that. Perfect Paella and Tapas, beautiful. Street Food, Mexico, oh yes, love your veggies. See, I'd send my dear old 87-year-old mother along to Love Your Veggies because, when Mum, and she doesn't cook for us anymore because we cook for her, but when Mum used to cook veggies, like a lot of people of that era, they used to boil them and boil them and boil them.
Yeah.
You were better off drinking the water than eating the veggies.
Vegetables is probably the one thing that's changed right now in the last 2 or 3 years. I mean, because so many people have so many dietary requirements now. So that most of our team building events, for example, we do a lot more vegetarian food than we ever did before, which is fantastic for me because I really like that. I like the flavors. I love all the freshness and stuff like that. So we're doing a whole series of vegetarian classes coming up starting in February. So, and it's all about the different varieties, going from Asia all the way to raw and, doing things with cashew mayonnaise and all kinds of, kale. Kale is so big at the moment this year. So cauliflower rice, all the things that, people just never really would think about doing with vegetables. And it's just so good for you. So it's great.
Now, whereabouts do you do all this at?
Well, most of our cooking classes are done on Dank Street in Waterloo.
Yep.
And they're very small classes, up to 12 people. And then the new vegetarian classes are going to be held over in Stanmore at the public school there. And the public school has given us their Stephanie Alexander kitchen, which she's put together, which I don't know if you know who Stephanie Alexander is.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, anyway, she's put together a beautiful kitchen there for the kids. And the school's is going to let us use that for all our vegetarian classes starting on February 25th. So
wonderful.
We have a series going on there. So that'll be fantastic, too. So we're looking forward to that. That'll hold 30 people, so that's quite big.
So, these days in the kitchen, I guess, when you're talking about cooking, it's a lot more, well, I was going to say complex. We've created a lot more opportunity for ourselves when we're cooking these days. And not only that, but you've also got to be mindful of the fact that, I guess also we live in a time when there are other issues at play, diabetes, people who are allergic to certain things, celiacs, etc. Do you deal with all of that in your classes?
Constantly. Yeah. So we always ask people if they have any dietary requirements. If they do, then I try to rewrite the menus a little bit around them, and then talk to them when they first come, and so that they know, so they take control of that whole of their dietary requirements too during the class. So, yeah, that's very big now. I mean, there's so many people that are gluten intolerant and every imaginable thing that you can think of. So that's why the vegetarian classes, that's why we've actually started doing them, because they actually suit that group of people very well. And it does give them, the benefit of still eating really healthy and it's all about, taking care of yourself and learning how to do that.
That's it. I bet when people come along to Victor's Foods to one of the classes, I bet they have fun, because I'm looking at some of the pictures on your website and you see bunches of girls. You do hens parties and things like that, don't you?
Yeah, we do all that crazy stuff. It's good. Well, you always have to remember one thing about food. It will always bring people together. So when you ask people about their food memories in their lifetime, what some of the biggest memories they have, they always will talk about sitting at the table with their parents or with their friends or whatever, and, they solve the problems of the world or, or whoever knows what happens at the table. But, all kinds of politics get talked about. But it's a great networking in a way of talking, and it's a great way of socializing, and it's just really great for relationship building at the same time. So there's lots going on there.
And we've got so much great produce and great